Hey everybody, welcome to the On Deck podcast presented by LineStar. I'm Shannon Sommerville here with Tyler Wiemann, about to break down today's daily fantasy slate. Got a couple good games on deck for you today. First things first though, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below to keep up with all of our content coming out of the YouTube channel. Getting into today's slate, looks like a pretty good one. Oh, I see Gumby's on the hill today for my Yanks.
Sure is.
Few weather conditions to take note of for today. Nationals at Orioles, scattered storms. 66% chance of rain there, 75 degrees. Cubs at Pirates, 52% chance of rain. Keep an eye on that one. We do have some nice hitter-friendly conditions at Truist Park, where the Braves are hosting the Giants. 95 degrees, 10-mile-an-hour winds out to left. Hello, hitters weather. And Guardians at Twins, 86 degrees, just a light 6-mile-an-hour wind to center. So some nice conditions there.
I like it.
Let's get into today's chalk report. And first, take a look at some high-owned pitchers on the slate for today. We'll start things off with Showtime. Angels righty Shohei Ohtani's taking on the Royals today. He is about 43% owned on both sites. He's got a 3.28 ERA, 2.22 opponent average, and last game just 3 hits, 6 scoreless against the Mariners. So what do you see from him today?
Well, first of all, what about that game from him last night? 2 home runs.
Showtime.
A bunch of RBIs. He pretty much was their offense.
Yeah.
I know. He must have done some bat CPR. Anyways, let's get into it. So the highest projected pitcher today is Shohei Ohtani. He is also the second highest value. For the LineStar score has a 23.5 combined K rate on him with a high safety score and a 4.4 alert star rating. The only worry thing I'm seeing really is he has a 4.26 FIP over the last 5, a 44.7% fly ball rate, but there is a 30% soft contact there, so I don't really worry too much about that fly ball because people really haven't been hitting him that hard.
All right, so we're in on Shohei for today?
I like him.
All right, let's take a look at Giants lefty Carlos Rodon going up against the Braves today. 38% owned on DraftKings and 28% owned on FanDuel. 2.84 ERA for him, 2.10 opponent average. He's been lights out. He has only given up 2 hits in his last 2 starts. Hasn't allowed a run in that span. He's just been completely dialed in. What do you like about him today against the Braves, though, with some hitter's conditions there?
Yeah, and we all know Rodon is a great pitcher. Ton of things to like about him. However, LineStar isn't a big fan today.
Okay.
Only a 15-point projection. He costs over 10K. So LineStar tools kind of aren't saying that they like him too much. And I think it largely comes down to insanely good hitting weather. This is the type of hitting weather we saw in Chicago last week. While Atlanta's ballpark doesn't play as good as the Cubs ballpark in these conditions, it still is a giant boost to hitting. And Atlanta has high WOBA and high ISO versus lefties. And the combined K rate is only 21%. So at that salary, it might not make sense.
Yeah, I think it's something like every 20 degrees of temperature accounts for like 1.3 runs, something like that. So
yeah,
those temperatures go up. You see it in the 90s in Atlanta today.
Yeah, if Atlanta is
makes me
able,
nervous for the pitchers.
Totally. And there's good pitchers on both sides, and we're going to talk about them a little bit more in the low-owned stack stuff. Okay. But it's really just the weather here. If they can put the bat on the ball, the ball is gonna go far.
So let's talk about some of those low-owned pitchers for today. Mariners righty George Kirby going up against the A's today. He's got a 3.56 ERA, 2.57 opponent average, and last outing 2 earned runs, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts versus the Angels. Now, it is worth noting that the last time he faced the A's was in May. He had a season-high 9 strikeouts. So pretty favorable matchup for Kirby today.
Yeah, and I'm officially a broken record. Yes. I have talked about him pretty much every start.
Single time.
He's just way too cheap. It's Oakland versus righties. We've gone against them over and over and over again, especially when it's a righty on the mound. They are the second worst team versus righties. There's a 22% combined K rate here, which is higher than Rodon, who's 10K. Meanwhile, Kirby's in like the 6s. He's also the highest value pitcher for LineStar today at 2.5x. He has shown major upside against poor teams, 25% K rate over his last 5, and a 33% K rate versus Oakland in his last game,
Ooh, yeah.
which you alluded to with his highest strikeouts game of the year. And he has a 4.5 star alert score, so he looks good. Oakland's only their game total is 3.4.
And the
runs.
alert score, which basically alludes to today's particular matchup.
Yeah, so it is
favorable factors like ballpark. That's basically what's included in.
Yeah, so the LineStar alert score goes on factors for weather, the type of hitters they're facing, the pitcher that they are, kind of just an algorithm for all of that stuff to come
great
out.
Tool.
Yeah,
to just try to decide who you're going to go with today. Kind of alerts you, hence the name.
Yeah.
To who's got some favorable matchups.
And if you are still on the old app, it's similar. We just had more just kind of emojis laid out, and the new alert score is just put into a 5-star rating. All those same emojis are there when you open the player card. The alert score is just a little easier to kind of like look at it and manage it. So.
Let's take a look at Red Sox righty Michael Wacha going up against the Tigers today. He's got a 2.28 ERA, 2.04 opponent average. He's been solid, and he doesn't get blown up a lot. He's, not a high strikeout guy, but he's kind of solid going up against Tigers today, who have a pretty anemic offense. So certainly some things to like about this matchup.
Yeah, this is just like Kirby pretty much.
Yeah.
Detroit is the worst versus righties. 5-star alert score here. It is a low safety score. I think that's more so just because of Montgomery. His past has been a little shaky. However, he's been great this year.
Factors that go into a safety score? Basically, that means
it's going to be a combination of ownership and projection and like their median outputs.
Okay.
So it is a lower safety score. However, pretty good leverage score here.
Excellent.
And then he has great BVP numbers, 53 plate attempts. They're only hitting 200 off him with a 22.6 K rate. He has a mid-3 FIP over the last 20 and the last 5. Tampa Bay doesn't strike out a ton versus lefties. Oh, I actually started out talking about Detroit here, didn't I? Sorry, I was thinking about Michael Wacha there, who we're going to talk about next. But anyways, Tampa Bay is also another team below average, and they don't strike out that much versus lefties. So there's a little bit of upside. I would say it's a little safer than our safety score is showing. But regardless, pretty good projection. He's a low price, and if you don't trust those high-priced pitchers today, it's a good option.
All right, so who are we looking at next?
Michael Wacha, as we just said, 13% on DraftKings, 2% on FanDuel. Detroit versus lefties, strikeout 24%. Wacha has had a 30% K rate versus Detroit. He has a 4-star alert score. Good matchup. He's super cheap. Again, low safety score. 3.72 FIP, 22% K rate over the last 20. He's simply been very good this year, and he's in a good matchup.
Yeah,
he's cheap.
All right, so looking at the overall picture here for pitchers, if you're on DraftKings, which 2 guys would you go with?
I think Shohei is way too cheap. Casey's offense isn't that great, although they put on a show last night. I guess both teams, Angels and Royals, put on a show last night. But with his price, I think you kind of got to go there. If you're looking at a second pitcher, I do like spending down and going one of these lower price guys.
Okay.
If you're on FanDuel, Shohei is a lot more expensive. I get the ownership, but I might get a little risky and go with Kirby.
All right. Let's go to our stacks today. We're going to go over what teams people are leaning towards in today's stacking situation. So first, we're going to look at the Cubs. They're going up against Pirates' Jared Eichhoff, who was just announced as the pitcher for today for the Pirates. He's got a really high ERA, and so I can see why people are in on the Cubs today.
Absolutely. I pulled up some old numbers with Eichhoff because we haven't seen him this year. 2019, he had a 6.5 FIP in 10 starts, allowed 2.8 home runs per 9. 2021, 9.78 FIP, allowed in 4 starts, 4.1 home runs per 9. He has just been getting blown up. In the minors, he had a 4.84 ERA so far this year with 1.5 home runs per 9. So he did not let quite as many home runs, but it is the minors, not the majors. And with all this, just a major reason why the Cubs are high owned. He has not been good. He hasn't shown that he's good in the majors. Right. We have warm weather, winds blowing out. There's no
his ERA in 2021, 8.69 ERA with a 3.33 opponent average.
Yeah, and the only thing I would say here is, like I say on a lot of these podcasts, I never really want to go after the meh teams that are high owned. Cubs are a meh team.
Yeah.
But they're also playing Pittsburgh, who's not very good.
Right.
So,
well, how do you feel?
There is some upside.
How do you feel about the Orioles going up against the Nationals? They're kind of another meh team, so I'm curious to see what you think. So it's going to be lefty Patrick Corbin on the hill for the Nats. 6.59 ERA, 3.19 opponent average for Corbin. Its away numbers are much worse. 7.47 ERA, 3.50 opponent average. Those are not great numbers. In last game, gave up 2 bombs and just 3 1/3 versus the Phillies. So I can see why you're just kind of picking on Corbin today.
I mean, he's everybody's favorite punching bag. Every single week that he's pitching, he is on the other side of one of the higher owned stacks. Today it's Baltimore. In 5 of his last 7 starts, the opponent team has scored over 4 runs. In all 7, they have scored at least 4 runs. So those 4 runs. His FIP's around 5. The BVP data in 29 plate attempts, Orioles are hitting 333 off him with a 388 WOBA. So they're hitting the ball, getting on base, obviously scoring some runs. 4.8 implied total for today. The one positive thing I can say about his StatCast is it is 49% fly balls, so he's keeping the ball on the ground, 20% soft contact, and only 28% hard contact. So hitters are having a hard time really making good contact, but he's still allowing 1.4 home runs per 9.
It's making me think about a Trey Mancini prop for today or something.
Well, and that's the other thing. You talked about the Orioles being a mad team, and they are, but they have good offensive games, and they have some players that are pretty good and can hit the ball.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at some low-owned stacks now. And here's where you can find a little bit more leverage, especially kind of steering away from what the field is doing, right? So first we're going to look at the Cardinals going up against Brewers' Eric Lauer. Now, what do you like about this particular play? I know the Cardinals' bats they're pretty good, and they definitely have the ability. Especially
crush lefties.
Yeah, they really do.
And Lauer was really good to start the season.
Yeah, he was.
We were talking about him every week, and he's kind of fallen off. 7 FIP over his last 5.
Wow.
41% fly balls, 33% hard contact, tons of barreled balls. He's now allowing 1.9 home runs per 9. He's walking 4.8 per 9 over his last 5.
Yeah.
So he's really letting guys on base. He's letting people hit him hard. There's a 4.5 implied total. And St. Louis has a couple pitchers on top of that daily matchup tool. So anytime you see that, you kind of got to those guys. Yeah. That daily matchup tool comes through.
Absolutely. Yeah, I saw Paul Goldschmidt. I don't know if he's going to be playing today, but he's one of the top projected hitters for today in terms of the matchup.
So he sat yesterday, they say, as precautionary reasons.
So he could be back.
And it was back tightness. So I actually was going to pick him for my home run pick.
Just needs to do a little Pilates. That helps with that.
Yeah.
I'm the pro.
Show up to one of your classes. So yeah, he was going to be one of my home run picks, but I decided to go a different way because of the back tightness. I also saw over the last week, he's only been hitting 220. So I was wondering if maybe those two. Yeah.
All right. Next team. Well, 2 teams. I guess we're just going to kind of look at this Giants Braves game because it is going to be warm. 95 degrees, 10 mile an hour winds to left. These are home run derby conditions.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start with the Giants side of things. They're going up against Charlie Morton. Do you like Giants or Braves better, or are you just going kind of both?
So with Rodon being a higher owned pitcher, there is way more leverage going with the Braves.
Yeah.
However, I mean, just looking at the data, Morton is more likely to get blown up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's reasons with both of them. Both offenses are very good. Both pitchers are good, but it's really the warm weather thing.
Yeah.
Like as we saw in Chicago last week, like when you get temperatures like this and winds blowing out, kind of plays like Coors.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
And
in fact,
so
we made a bet that day that said
we did.
Who will have more home runs, Coors
Yes.
or Wrigley?
Yes.
And Wrigley just crushed it.
But Wrigley does that, and Wrigley will play to these warm weathers and wind more than
Truist Park.
Yeah, but it
Fair
still
point.
is going to be like a big bump up, and I would expect some home runs, expect some offense. It's just really hard to put out a lot of data that supports stacking these two.
Yeah.
Just you know, they're both good pitchers. So I can totally see going this way, and Atlanta Braves with a little leverage stack isn't a bad idea. Morton started off terrible this year, but he's kind of turned it around a little bit. Yep. So we'll see. Yeah. He's at home though, so
we'll keep an eye on that one. 95 degrees, man. Hot Atlanta. Let's take a look now at the Angels going up against the Royals. And for them, it's going to be the lefty, Daniel Lynch, who has gotten lit up a few times. And with Ohtani's bat is back, although with him pitching today, he can still crush it.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you see from the Angels bats today?
So the Angels busted out last night. It was only a couple guys though. So, and this is kind of what we see with Angels a lot.
That's kind of their problem, right? It's just a few guys.
Yeah, and the guys that do it are high priced, which goes along with us saying a lot of low priced, low owned pitchers today. But Angels going against Daniel Lynch allows 1.4 home runs per 9, 39% hard contact. Lots of line drives, lots of high exit velocity hits, 4.8 Vegas implied total. They put on a show yesterday. You know, we're going to see if we can ride that and if they're going to start getting hot.
Awesome. All right. So some great plays there on that side of things. Now it's time for our sleeper picks for you. Try to find you some really good value. Basically, we go into LineStar and we just sort it by value and give you the best price, the biggest bang for your buck in these sleeper picks. We're going to start by going with DraftKings sleeper pick, and it's still going to be Pittsburgh's Jack Suwinski. He's been 3 days in a row our top sleeper pick for good reason. He's only $2,200 still, and he has a fantasy projection of 8.25. Yeah, he was 0 for 2 yesterday, but 2 walks. He was accounted for 2 runs still. So at $2,200, he's still accounting for 2 runs when he doesn't have a hit. I think that's pretty good value. It's also great matchup for him today. We've got a lefty bat against righties. He's much better against righties. In fact, his OPS versus righties is almost 200 points higher. And he's going up against the Cubs righty Keegan Thompson, who's been good, but I think Suwinski's been pretty hot recently, and that price just doesn't reflect that. So I think it's a good time to take advantage of that play.
Agreed. I like it. I mean, that game as a whole is probably going to be pretty good one to target.
Let's take a look at the FanDuel sleeper pick of the day, and it's going to be Cubs third baseman Patrick Wisdom, who's $2,300 on FanDuel, and his projected point total is 11.3. Now, this is a situation where he's going up against the Pittsburgh righty Jared Eichhoff, who in 2021 had an ERA over 8 and a 3.33 opponent average. And Patrick Wisdom, 2 for 3 yesterday with a home run. And at that price point, price is right, in my opinion. Price
is right. Cubs are going to be high owned, but he does look like he's a good spot. Eichhoff's allowing a ton of home runs, so why not?
Why not? And as always, make sure to check out LineStarApp.com and be sure to get your LineStar Premium subscription before football season. It's coming up, and the prices are going to go up on September 8th. So right now, you can get the LineStar app for $19.99 per month if you sign up before September 8th. So go ahead and get that. I know fantasy football season is coming up, and so you want to lock in that price before you have to go. It'll help you dominate all your fantasy leagues, and this is all the information we're giving you in your daily fantasy to help you win some contests. And it's at $19.99 a month is the best value you're going to find on the market.
Or you can lock in a year and get 2 months free.
There you go. Now let's move along to our home run calls of the day. Now in our home run contest, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below for a chance you could tail one of our picks, or just comment below, choose your own. Get it right, you could win your choice of a free LineStar subscription or $25. So be sure to play along with that. With that, our home run calls for today. Tyler, where are you going?
I am going to Atlanta with Ronald Acuna. He has a very tough matchup versus Carlos Rodon, but Acuna is at the top of the daily matchup tool. He has a 3.5 star rating today, and it is the best hitting weather on the slate by far. I think Acuna hits one out.
All right. I'm going Andrew McCutchen, and this was a stat that I found on LineStar that I could not resist. It's his batter versus pitcher data against Adam Wainwright today. In 70 at-bats, he has a 3.14 average. He has 2 home runs against him, so just that alone is really making me lean towards McCutchen today. I think he hits a home run today. That's where I'm headed. Cutch bomb. Let's go.
I like it.
All right. Now, let's move along to our prop bets for today. Where are you going?
I am going with George Kirby over 4.5 Ks at minus 130. He had 9 Ks last time out versus Oakland, and he has hit this in 4 of 5 starts, missing only to Boston, who doesn't strike out much. Kirby has a great K rate. Oakland likes to strike out. We're going George Kirby over 4.5.
Nice. I'm keeping it with Kutch, okay? Andrew McCutchen, 3.14 average against Adam Wainwright in 70 at-bats. So give me that over 1.5 bases at plus 135. He's batting .318 in the last 15 days, so kind of on fire. And I also like the total runs as well. That's at plus 125. And he's accounted for a run in 7 of the last 10 games, so I really like that one as well. The over 1.5 bases is slightly more risky because he's only hit that in 6 of the last 14. So if you want slightly safer bet, I would go total runs, but I still like that over 1.5 bases, especially given the fact that he kind of owns Wainwright a little bit. Sorry about it.
Sorry, you're not sorry.
Not sorry at all. Remember, with those picks, you can try to find them on the Underdog Sports app. You can get 3 months of LineStar Premium for free. New players only. Sign up for Underdog Sports using that link below. Use promo code LineStar. Deposit at least $10 in Underdog Sports. Will match your first deposit up to $100. It's a great way to get your prop bets in. And the good thing about it is you think it's prop bets. It's like a legal loophole of
it is. It's
of
legal in 45 states. Legal in 45 states. Being in California, I love it. I use it.
Yes, exactly.
Hopefully sports betting becomes legal here. But for now, Underdog is my go-to.
And then be sure also to sign up for LineStar, right, Tyler? I mean, it's...
And if you use the promo code with Underdog, you get 3 months free.
Yes.
LineStar.
So make sure to do that. So the LineStar Premium right now, just $19.99 per month if you sign up before September 8th. I know a lot of people are going to be looking for some leverage in their fantasy football drafts, and that's exactly how you could find it. Lock in that price before September 8th.
And we have a lot of things coming for football season that we're trying to update.
Yeah, exactly. As always, like, subscribe, comment. We'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.